Imagine finding a simple old coin in your change jar could be worth thousands or even millions of pounds. In this video, we're diving deep into the top 5 rarest and most valuable UK Elizabeth coins ever discovered. From shocking minting errors to hidden gems collectors dream of, these coins have changed ordinary people's lives overnight, whether it's sitting in your wallet. One of the rarest British coins ever minted, the 1983 UK Elizabeth £1 error coin, has become a legendary mystery in the world of numismatics. Most people spent theirs without a second thought, but a tiny handful of lucky collectors discovered something shocking. Their coin wasn't normal at all. Today, we're diving deep into the untold story, the incredible history, and the unbelievable values behind this £1 coin that changed everything. Let's go back to the early 1980s, a decade of change, modernization, and new beginnings for Britain's coinage system. In 1983, the Royal Mint introduced a brand new coin to replace the familiar £1 banknote, the £1 coin, featuring the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the royal arms of the United Kingdom on the reverse. It was the first ever £1 coin in circulation, designed to be durable, long-lasting, and resistant to wear. Minted in nickel brass, it had a distinctive golden tone, a diameter of 22.5 millimeters, and a weight of 9.5 grams. Let's talk about what everyone wants to know: how much are these coins actually worth today? Well, that depends entirely on which version you have. A regular 1983 £1 coin in circulated condition is worth, of course, just £1,000 or perhaps a couple of pounds to a collector for nostalgia, but the plain edge error, that's where things get jaw-dropping. Early auctions in the 1990s saw these coins sell for £5,000 to £7,000. Collectors couldn't believe a modern coin could fetch that much. By the early 2000s, interest in coin errors exploded online and the value skyrocketed. In 2016, reports emerged of collectors paying over £2,500 for verified examples in pristine condition, and that was just the beginning. In more recent years, as collectors realize just how few survive, estimates have reached £10,000 or more, and in some cases, private sales have hinted at offers far higher. Experts suggest that a proof-quality plain-edge 1983 £1 coin could one day sell for £30,000 or even more, if authenticated and in mint condition. Some numismatists argue that because of its historical significance as the first £3,000 coin, with the first major error, a museum-quality specimen could easily fetch hundreds of thousands, or potentially even up to £1 million, if two collectors go head-to-head at auction. Sounds crazy, maybe. But remember the 1933 penny, a British coin that should never have existed, once fetched £40,000, and today would likely sell for over £60,000. Now here's the part that might make you reach for your coin jar. How can you tell if you've got the real deal? Let's break it down step by step. The date. Look for 1983 on the obverse side, beneath the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The portrait. It should feature the young Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. The reverse. You'll see the royal coat of arms designed by Eric Sewell. The edge. This is the most crucial part, the edge. Today, we're uncovering the incredible history, the secret errors, and the shocking values behind one of Britain's most mysterious coins, the 1970-era UK Elizabeth V new Pence coin. So stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you might be racing to check your old coin collections, and who knows, you might already be holding a piece of British minting history worth a fortune. To understand why the 1975 new Pence is so special, we need to go back in time to the late 1960s, when Britain was preparing for one of the biggest changes in its monetary history, decimalisation. Before 1971, the UK used the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence. 240 pennies made up £1. But the world was changing fast, and Britain decided to simplify its currency. In 1968, the Royal Mint introduced new decimal coins to help the public get used to the upcoming change. Now, if you're watching this thinking, wait, I think I have a 1970 coin, let's find out if it's the real deal. The date. It should clearly read 1970 on the obverse, beneath the Queen's portrait. Proof-like finish. The genuine 1970 coins were struck with a high-polished die, so they often have a mirror-like finish. If yours looks too shiny for a circulation coin, that's a good sign. Edge. The 5 new pence has a milled edge, tiny grooves all the way around. But certain error coins have faint or partial milling due to die misalignment. Signs of circulation. A true error coin might show light where unlike proof coins that were never used. This can actually increase value if experts confirm it's a genuine escaped coin. Die cracks or strike errors. Some rare examples show small cracks or double impressions, evidence of a minting issue that boosts rarity. Professional authentication. If you suspect you found one, have it certified by NGC UK or the London Coin Grading Service, LCGS. A verified 1970 error can command incredible prices. Now let's talk about the part everyone loves, the value. A standard 1975 new Pence proof coin in perfect condition sells for around £5,000 to £2,000, common among collectors. But the error coins, those accidentally released or displaying minting defects, are a completely different story. Early recorded sales show examples fetching £500 to £1,000 in the 1980s. By the 2000s, with increasing awareness and demand for error coins, certain authenticated examples sold for £5,000 to £10,000. Today, however, these coins are considered legendary. Verified 1970 circulation strike errors have been valued at £15,000 to £25,000, depending on condition and documentation. And experts believe that if a pristine, fully documented example, a coin showing both the 1970 date and circulation characteristics, were to appear at a major auction, it could easily surpass £65,000 or even £70,000. Now, here's where things get jaw-dropping. Because no official circulation mintage was ever recorded, the total number of genuine escaped coins is unknown. Some collectors. Welcome to the fascinating mystery of the 1982 error UK Elizabeth 20 pence coin, one of the most intriguing and valuable coins in British numismatic history. Stay tuned, because by the end of this story, you'll never look at your loose change the same way again. Imagine finding a simple 20 pence coin in your pocket, one that looks a little different, maybe the text seems slightly off, or the date doesn't appear where it should. Now imagine realizing that this small piece of metal could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of pounds. Sounds unbelievable, right? The year 1982 marked a major turning point in British coinage. After decades of the old pre-decimal system, Britain was fully embracing decimalization, and the 20 pence coin was one of the newest additions to the decimal family. First introduced in June 1982, the 20p was minted to fill the gap between the 10p and 50p denominations, a convenient value for everyday transactions. But, as with many stories in coin collecting, what was meant to be an ordinary coin ended up creating a legend, a numismatic treasure that collectors still dream about today. The 1982 20 pence coin errors are particularly fascinating because they represent a transitional phase in minting. Early test strikes, alignment issues, and die mismatches created coins that were never meant for public release. Some coins featured misaligned designs, weak strikes, or even planchet errors where the metal blanks used were incorrect. Others were off-center strikes, showing partial borders or missing text. Each one of these errors adds rarity, and in the world of coin collecting, rarity means value. Imagine finding a 1982 20p with a double die obverse, where the Queen's portrait appears slightly doubled under close inspection. That subtle misalignment can make a coin worth hundreds of pounds instantly. A coin with a broad strike error, where the metal wasn't perfectly centered during minting, can fetch over £1,000 or more, depending on condition. Even rarer are off-metal strikes, coins struck on the wrong metal blanks, such as those intended for foreign coins. These can easily reach tens of thousands of pounds at auction, especially if authenticated by grading authorities like NGC or PCGS. But the most mysterious and valuable 1982 20 pence coins are those that show transitional die pairings, coins struck with mismatched dies from test runs or prototypes that differ slightly from the official production dies. These are not just errors, they are one-of-a-kind pieces, with some experts estimating potential values upwards of £57,000 or more, depending on their uniqueness and provenance. And it's not just collectors who are paying attention. In recent years, major auction houses like Dix, Noonan Webb and London Coins have seen skyrocketing interest in early decimal errors. A pristine or high-grade 1982 20 pence with clear minting irregularities can easily sell for £5,000 to £10,000, depending on its rarity coins. Welcome to the incredible story of the 1983-era UK Elizabeth 20 pence coin, a coin shrouded in mystery, rarity, and jaw-dropping value. Imagine this for a moment: you reach into your change, pull out an old 20 pence coin from 1983, and suddenly realize it's not quite like the others. Maybe the lettering looks off, the color seems strange, or something about the design just doesn't match. Now imagine that this small difference could make that coin worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of pounds. The story begins just 1 year after the first 20 pence coins were introduced in 1982. Britain was still adjusting to its modern decimal coinage system, and the Royal Mint was working to perfect its production techniques. The 1983 20 pence coin, like its predecessor, featured the stunning heptagonal shape and the familiar design by William Gardner, the crown Tudor rose on the reverse, symbolizing England's rich royal heritage. On the obverse was the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. It was elegant, modern, and meant to represent the stability of a new era of coinage. While most 1983 20 pence coins were struck perfectly and released into circulation, a few rare examples show remarkable mistakes, errors so rare that even the Royal Mint has never fully disclosed how many escaped into the public's hands. These include double strikes, off-center strikes, misaligned lettering, planchet errors, and even mule errors, each one making the coin incredibly valuable. Then there are the off-center strikes, coins that were not properly aligned during minting, resulting in part of the design being cut off or mispositioned. These are incredibly appealing to collectors because no two are exactly alike. The more dramatic the misalignment, the higher the value. Some have been known to sell for £2,000 to £10,000 at auction. Even more fascinating are the broad strike errors, where the coin's retaining collar failed to hold the metal in place, allowing it to spread beyond its intended shape. These coins often look wider or flatter than normal, and because they're so visually striking, collectors are willing to pay thousands of pounds for them, particularly if the coin remains in mint or near mint condition. But the rarest and most mysterious of all are the mule errors, coins struck using mismatched dies from different denominations or years. Imagine a 1983 20 pence coin accidentally struck with a die intended for another coin, perhaps a 10p or even a test piece from the Royal Mint's internal trials. Such a mistake would create an entirely unique hybrid coin. These are ultra rare, and because no two mule errors are the same, their value is potentially unlimited. A unique mule from this era could easily be worth £74,000, £78,000, or even more, depending on provenance and condition. Auction houses such as London Coins, Dix Noonan Webb, and the Coin Cabinet have seen enormous interest in early 1980s decimal errors. Coins certified by professional grading services like NGC or PCGS can command eye-watering prices. A confirmed 1983 error 20 pence with clear doubling or off-metal composition could easily sell for £10,000, £25,000, or even more, depending on the specifics. This is the incredible story of the 1969 era UK Elizabeth 50 new pence coin, one of the most mysterious and valuable coins in British history. Imagine holding a coin so rare that it could turn your pocket change into a life-changing fortune. A simple, silver-colored coin that most people would overlook, but one that collectors dream about finding. Now imagine discovering that it's worth not just hundreds, not just thousands, but potentially millions of pounds. The 50 new pence coin was first introduced in 1969, just before the United Kingdom's major decimalisation change in 1971. It replaced the old 10-shilling note and was one of the first decimal coins ever struck. With its unique seven-sided design and equilateral curve heptagon, the coin was both practical and revolutionary. People could easily distinguish it by touch, and it represented a modern Britain moving forward. The obverse of the coin featured the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth designed by Arnold Machin. These era 1969 50 new pence coins are the stuff of legend. They carry mistakes so rare that they were never supposed to exist at all. From off-metal strikes, misaligned dies, and double strikes, to planchet flaws and even mule errors, each variety represents a unique story from Britain's transition into the decimal age. And because these were among the earliest coins of the new system, any minting mistakes carry even greater historical and monetary value. Then there are double-struck coins where the same blank was struck twice by the die, leaving ghost-like images or overlapping designs. Some examples show Britannia appearing twice, or the Queen's portrait slightly offset and repeated. These spectacular errors can easily fetch £5,000 to £20,000 at auction, with the most dramatic examples commanding even higher prices. But perhaps the most fascinating and mysterious of all are the mule errors coins created when two mismatched dies are used together. Imagine a 1969 50p reverse paired with an obverse die from a completely different denomination or year. Mule coins like these are extraordinarily rare, often one of a kind, and have been known to sell for £85,000 or more. Some experts believe that a few early test strikes from 1969, possibly made during the Royal Mint's trial runs before full production, were accidentally released into circulation. If one of these ever surfaced, its value could reach well over £1 million. Another rare type is the broad strike error, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar that shapes its edges. These coins appear slightly larger and flatter than normal and often show incomplete edge definition. Broad strikes are highly collectible, and a 1969 example could sell for £2,000 to £10,000, depending on the clarity of the error. And if that coin happens to be in uncirculated or proof condition, the price can skyrocket even further. Coins graded and authenticated by professional services like NGC or PCGS often achieve record-breaking auction results. A high-grade 1969 50p with a confirmed mint error could easily reach £20,000 to £50,000, and in some cases, much more.